This video is about frank dialogues with colleagues about HIV, about stigma, about discrimination, is to really engage all the staff in around restoring dignity, making sure that people can really consider that, in fact, creating space for dialogue is the only way to bring shared values and also build around our shared individual responsibilities.
When I was in work, my colleagues didn't want to speak with me, didn't like work with me or share some things. I decided to talk about the disease on my colleagues. I spread the message that HIV/AIDS is a normal disease.
There are times when I speak with staff members who work with somebody who's HIV positive and out about their status, and they actually ask me, you know, how do I talk to this person, as if it's someone from another planet. Well, I'm here to tell you that you talk to somebody who's HIV positive like you talk to anybody else. I think it's important to make that point. Sometimes people want to go out of their way to make certain that they're doing the right thing, and just by doing that, you know, can make themselves and then maybe the other person uncomfortable.
Lutter contre la stigmatisation, c'est lutter contre nos peurs. Je pense que cette réflexion-là sur la stigmatisation s'applique au VIH/SIDA, mais s'applique à toutes les formes de racisme, à toutes les formes de discrimination au sens large du terme, et nous en connaissons malheureusement beaucoup, et nous devons vraiment lutter de manière très très systématique pour ne pas nous laisser emprisonner par ces peurs, par ces éléments de rejet.
In the early days, gay men and drug users were dying of horrible, disfiguring diseases that were untreatable, and everyone was scared, really scared. And that fear developed a stigma and levels of discrimination that often aren't faced by people with other illnesses. That's what has continued to feed a lot of the stigma today, that and homophobia and fear of drug users. And we need to try to create an environment where that stigma, that discrimination, that fear, that shame about HIV disappears.
I don't have friends that say they know people with HIV, but I believe that if they get in touch with somebody, if they knew it has HIV, they would stay like with a foot behind. They wouldn't like touch the people. They know you can't get like that, but everybody's afraid, you know. The guys of our age, they like, oh, I will never get that, so why use condoms if they think, oh, there's a treatment, and they don't face it like seriously. And so I talk with them. Oh, I went to a course and it was really cool. I met Jacqueline, and she talked about her life, and she has HIV, and I say those things to them and say how important it is. Because the things we learn at school are like more the symptoms of the disease, what the virus do with the cells, but not like how to deal with people, only how to prevent, but it's much more bigger in UN, you know, these courses.
We need to ensure that we watch what we say, because you never know when someone you're talking to may be someone living with HIV. I know of a friend of mine who actually was not out in the environment of their workplace about their HIV status, and was talking about an AIDS event that was coming up, and one of the staff members said to that person, oh, well, you know, I think all those people with HIV should be put on an island somewhere.
Tell me how it's like.
1998မှာကျွန်တော်ဒီ HIV ပေါ့နော် HIV ပိုးကိုရှိတယ်ဆိုပြီးတော့စစ်ဆေးတွေ့ရှိတယ်ဒါပေမဲ့ကျွန်တော်မယုံခဲ့ဘူးဘာဖြစ်ကျွန်တော်ကောင်းနေတော့မဲဆိုတော့အန်မေပြောနေတယ်2001မှာထပ်ပြီးတော့စစ်တယ်2001မှာထပ်စစ်တဲ့အခါမှာကျတော့ positive ဆိုတာကြီးပေါ်လာတယ် positive ပေါ်လာတော့ဒီကျွန်တော်မိဘတွေကလည်းကျွန်တော်ဟိုထမင်းတူမစားဘူးပကံတွေကအစတော့ခွဲချလိုက်တယ်ခွဲချလိုက်ပြီးတော့ဟိုကျွန်တော်တော့အရင်စိတ်တက်ကြတော့ဗောနော်ဗမာပြည်မှာတော့ဒီ HIV ရှိပြီဟေ့ဆိုရင်တော့ဟ များသောအားဖြင့်တော့ပထမတော့သူတို့မြင်တာဒီ
People sometimes underestimate the effect of stigma on others. In one given, I'm thinking of a single agency in one particular country, which in the last 12 months or so has lost 10 staff members to HIV-related causes. And the issue is that people they're not dying because the treatment is not available. Treatment is available. Policies are in place. Treatment is available. And yet people are afraid. Essentially, they end up dying because they're afraid. And that's unacceptable in our workplace.
Being a person living with HIV, I consider stigma and discrimination as the biggest barrier in allowing me enough liberty to live like any other human being. Like few years ago when I joined UN system, I felt very uncomfortable at times as I observed some UN colleagues coming specially to see what I look like. However, with the effective implementation of UN CARES program, I saw a very positive change in my colleagues' attitude.
UN CARES is certainly one of the most important programs for UN. For us, it is the unique entry point to make sure that we can equip staff, their family, with the tools which can help them to be protected against HIV. But more than that one, UN CARES is for us a movement in the UN system. Movement which will help us to dignify our staff, to make sure that they can have access to services when they look for, to have access to care, but also to be considered without discrimination and stigma.